This is Valley News Live at 4.
Lower numbers surrounding COVID-19. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum just announced that the statewide mask requirement will expire Monday. The governor noted that cities and counties may continue to have mask requirements in place. Also on Monday, capacity limits for restaurants, bars, and event venues will be changed to guidelines as hospitalizations, positive rates, and active cases have dropped. Here's a look at today's top 4 at 4. The gruesome death of a toddler back in May has been ruled a homicide. Her mother is in jail. 37-year-old Brandy Adeliki is booked in the Cass County Jail on 1 count of murder. Coming up in just 2 minutes, hear from a neighbor who says she can't believe it. A Fargo man is in jail after refusing to stop for police, crashing into a fence and running off into the snow. It happened this morning just after 1 a.m. when a Fargo police officer tried to pull a car over and it took off. Police found 35-year-old Nathan Wall after crashing through the interstate fence and running away. He was arrested on multiple warrants and for fleeing in a motor vehicle. A man is behind bars following a police chase in Stutzman County. Police say Gary Zink Jr. took off yesterday when an officer tried pulling him over for a traffic violation. They say he drove through several people's yards and hit a trailer before jumping out of his car and trying to get away on foot. Turns out he already had an arrest warrant. He was arrested for reckless endangerment, fleeing, and drug possession. President-elect Joe Biden is introducing a nearly $2 trillion COVID relief plan. This includes another round of stimulus checks, the biggest yet. What you need to know coming up in just a few minutes. That wraps up today's top 4 at 4. Now let's get a first look at your weather with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
Stacey, happy Friday, everyone. And we're over the hill as far as our significant weather goes. Here in the Fargo area, we still have wind and very icy roads around the region as this system is exiting. And First Alert Weather Day continues. Let's get to the latest. Here are some general snow band locators, some totals that we got a trace to an inch here in the valley and parts of northwest, the Northwest Valley, 2 to 5 in the Sisseton Hills. Heavier snow out near Duluth and the Twin Cities, 3 to 6 inches there, with 1 to 3 inch reports in Lakes Country. Peak wind gusts today still hit near 50 miles per hour, Fargo and Grand Forks, and it remains windy. At this time, we have gusts to 30 to 40 miles per hour remaining, but things are starting to taper off. The radar starting to quiet down as well, but lingering snow showers in the Sisseton Hills and out in eastern Minnesota. With temperatures near freezing, these roads are going to remain icy. And we have a winter weather advisory and wind advisory until 6 o'clock. Stacey, I'll have details on the forecast for the weekend, which does include some sunshine, at least a little. Details in a moment or two.
All right, Hutch, thanks so much.
Yeah.
More breaking news for you this afternoon. Lutheran Social Services of North Dakota is shutting its doors. The nonprofit made the announcement this afternoon. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie joins us live now with the details. Courtney.
Thanks, Stacey. This organization has been around helping so many in need for over a century. Now, the pandemic, paired with the drain on resources brought on by Lutheran Social Services Housing Department, has made it so the agency cannot survive. It's something they've been discussing over the last 6 weeks, but ultimately the financial pressure has made it so they can no longer serve families, children, elderly, and many more. Now, this will impact all of the programs that the nonprofit has to offer. Some of those programs are going to be ending immediately, and others will be phased out over the next 2 weeks. Now, nearly 300 staff members have been laid off so far, and Lutheran Social Service has a liquidation plan in place right now, but they say that filing for bankruptcy and closing permanently is something that's not off the table. I talked with the CEO and the president of the agency today, and tonight on Valley News Live at 10, I will be breaking this all down and telling you what's next. Live in Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
Courtney, thanks so much. We have the agency's full statement on our website, or you can download the VNL News app. A Fargo woman is behind bars tonight for murdering her daughter. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard went to the apartment where it happened. She has reaction live from neighbors. Callie.
Stacey, that's right. I'm standing right outside of this apartment where this happened just a couple of months ago. Police came here to the 2300 block of 17th Street South for an unresponsive child. The family of 15-month-old Mika says that she was horribly abused and tortured by her temporary caretaker and possibly others. They say she had been horribly abused, burned with chemicals, given alcohol, battered, and raped multiple times. The family saying there are more horrific details to the torture and murder that they don't want the world to have to suffer knowing, but it keeps replaying in their heads. They say these thoughts will scar them and Mika's young cousins for the rest of their lives. Now, I spoke with neighbors that were shocked to find out that they live next door to where this happened, and they said next time they're going to be more careful.
I can't believe I didn't know it was so close to home. Fargo's getting bad.
Year-old Brandy Adeliki is now in the Cass County Jail on one count of murder. Fargo police say that after weeks of investigation, the medical examiner ruled Mika's death a homicide. Reporting live in South Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
Callie, thanks. We reached out to Brandy Adeliki in the Cass County Jail. She declined an interview. An auto shop in New York Mills is asking for your help finding the person who allegedly stole parts from a car. Gibbs No. 10 Sales posted several pictures to their Facebook page of a person and a truck they described as a maroon 2002 or 2003 Ford F-150. The post says that the person in the picture has been stealing catalytic converters. The auto shop asks that if anyone has any information as to who this could be, call them 218-385-3010. If you're looking to get a COVID test in the Fargo area this weekend, you're in luck. Fargo Cass Public Health is holding a COVID rapid testing event in West Fargo. Valley News Team's Brian Sherrod has more.
There are multiple ways you can get tested for COVID-19, but let's first start with the upcoming event this Sunday. Now, testing will take place at Faith and Journey Lutheran Church from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. Pre-registration is required and can be completed at testreg.nd.gov. The Buy Next Now tests at this event are self-administered. Results are received in 15 to 30 minutes by text message. Individuals seeking a test will be asked to provide their full name and phone number. Staff will be on site to assist these test takers. Now, if you happen to miss this event this weekend, there are more opportunities to receive one, but there is a little more restrictions to that. Now, testing will take place from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon every Wednesday until February 10th. If interested, head over to the parking garage at the Lights Plaza and follow the signs to the testing area. The city says screening is for asymptomatic visitors only, so if you are sick, isolate at home and call your doctor. Now, participants are encouraged to register before getting tested.
Fargo Cass Public Health says they've administered nearly 3,000 doses of the vaccine so far this week. On the other side of the river, Clay County Public Health says they've administered around 700. President-elect Joe Biden has an aggressive COVID-19 relief package that he hopes will help millions of Americans struggling with the pandemic. But it still needs to get through Congress and will likely need support from at least a few Republicans. Deborah Alfarone has the latest from Washington, D.C.
We must act now and act decisively.
Less than a week before he's formally sworn into office, President-elect Joe Biden briefed the nation on his nearly $2 trillion stimulus plan, designed to both combat the coronavirus pandemic and boost the economy.
The crisis of deep human suffering is in plain sight, and there's no time to waste. We have to act, and we have to act now.
The plan offers direct relief by sending $1,400 stimulus checks, extending and increasing federal unemployment insurance from $300 to $400 a week, and providing a higher child tax credit. The proposal comes as COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. are nearing 400,000. More than 23,000 died in just the last week alone, the deadliest week of the pandemic so far.
The emptiness felt by the loss of life is compounded by the loss of our way of life.
Mr. Biden is calling for $400 billion to deal with COVID-19, including more money for testing, assisting schools, and vaccinations.
The vaccine rollout in the United States has been a dismal failure thus far.
The plan earmarks $160 billion for a national vaccination program. The president-elect is promising to deliver 100 million shots in his first 100 days in office. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
President-elect Biden is urging lawmakers to pass this package fast, calling it a moral obligation. Senators will also likely be in the middle of President Trump's second impeachment trial and confirmation hearings for Biden's cabinet nominees. The president-elect has suggested splitting up the workday so they can do it all. Dr. Anthony Fauci is criticizing the rollout of the coronavirus vaccine across the country. He says he believes 100 million people could be vaccinated in the first 100 days of the Biden presidency and that achieving herd immunity against the virus is possible.
If we get about 70% to 85% of the people in the country vaccinated, we likely will get to that umbrella of herd immunity that you'll start to see a serious turnaround of infections so people can feel, and I think it is possible after several months of doing this, that we can start to approaching some form of normality. But it's really going to be dependent on the uptake of vaccines.
Fauci also says the president-elect promised to ensure further coordination between the federal government and the states on administering the vaccine. Here's something you can do to make sure our healthcare workers are being taken care of in the midst of the pandemic. Last month, we told you about the Coffee for Healthcare Heroes Fund to provide gift cards to frontline workers. So far, $40,000 worth have been distributed to workers at Sanford, Essentia, and the Fargo VA. If you want to donate, there's a link right on valleynewslive.com. Just click on this story. CBS News has confirmed Vice President Mike Pence called Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. We'll have the details of that call next.
And some slick roads continue to be an issue across the eastern third of North Dakota, particularly in northeast North Dakota and the far southeastern corner where they were closer to those blizzard conditions. The storm is exiting. I'll have details on when this wind gives up, and we'll look at your weekend next.